Hello everybody, this is Daniel with Daniel's Bullion Coins. I have my sweet wife Ingrid here.
Good morning.
And we're going to take some questions and comments.
Okay, darling. Someone asked, I think a lady came into you the other day, you said, and asked, is there enough silver to actually go back on the standard?
Well, no, there's not enough silver to go back on the standard like we had years ago, where you had dimes, quarters, and halves, and you use that as your currency. We have a global situation now, and so yes, the internet has dealt with this question quite a few times, and we cannot go back on a silver standard, but that's not the standard that we're headed towards. We're headed toward a banking standard where banks are going to hold 1,000-ounce bars, and those bars are going to be divided up digitally. And each person is going to have a digitally controlled currency. I had somebody ask me at the auto parts store the other day, do you ever think we're going to get rid of the dollar? I said, no, it'll always be the dollar. It's changed many times over just the last 100 years in the way that it's formatted. So it's just going to continue, oh, here's my dollar, but it'll be a fraction of a digital asset held by the banks.
Right.
So if you're okay with a new digital ID and digital currency, you'll be okay. But if you're thinking, hey, I want to be more independent, I don't want to be subject to every will of the government when the grocery stores are closed and you have to have this particular mask or this particular ID to eat there. Mm-hmm. If you're thinking maybe I want to be a little bit more independent than that, that's why we do the gold and the silver and the skills. That's where we're coming. That's where we're coming at with all these videos.
And I heard this week too that China ordered silver from they said London, but
yes,
the LBMA, and they couldn't fill it.
Yes. They're not able to fill it. And we're seeing a lot of countries, Japan and China, are starting to lock down their silver deliveries. The U.S. was really the first to come out and call it a strategic metal.
Right.
And now it's been grouped with copper also. Like we've talked about, copper is going to be a monetary metal also. So now you're starting to see these metals not being shipped out. Right. And Mexico, they're a little bit upset about the Venezuela thing. And so you could see Mexico, if Mexico shuts down its shipments out of its country, because it's getting a huge amount of demand also from everybody, because there's just not enough silver produced at 1,000-ounce bars. Now there's a real problem on the other side. There's too much coming in.
Right.
So it's just
the refineries.
It's the refineries that are backed up.
Yeah.
And so that can topple the system right there. There can be tons of silver at the refinery, but it's got to be processed and made into these 1,000-ounce bars, which I'm predicting in the next couple of months that we're gonna see that peak where there's an abundance of silver and we're paying below spot for it, selling it below spot. And then there's going to be a shortage of silver, and you'll see the spot price, but yet you'll actually be able to sell your silver much higher than the spot price because there'll be such a demand for it.
So what would your advice, I know you're not a financial advisor.
Yes, not a financial advisor.
What would your advice be to do with silver right now?
Well, do what we're doing. What we are doing is we're just hanging on to as much of it as we can. You can buy it cheap right now. Right. We've got flyers out on the counter. We've got certain 90%, $5 below spot. We've got bars, $2 below spot. We've got Morgans and Peace dollars starting at $40. So you can see that we're trying to unload it at a bargain price, because if we take it to our wholesaler, we're having to wait 30 days to get our money. So we're buying much less at a lower rate, and we're selling at a much lower rate. Right. So it's a good time to buy. It's a good time to hold on and wait for that next wave. These things cycle. They get overstocked and then they get understocked. Right. And so just hang on for another few weeks, months. I don't know how long it'll take. Keep an eye on it, and you'll see opportunities to sell coming up.
Now, would you sell your bars right now in rounds?
We're selling bars and rounds as cheap as we can.
Yeah,
I would love to clear out every one that I've got and have none. Yeah. Be able to tell people I have none in stock.
And and buy 90% from people.
Yes, and keep buying the 90%.
The Eagles and the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, the wholesaler's not taking those either and making us wait 2 to 4 weeks to get paid for those.
Wow.
Which is hard to have that much capital tied up.
That's true.
Small little operation like this.
Well, what do you think about proprietary bars?
Yeah, so let's bash bars in the head again today. Another reason why you shouldn't be buying bars. And the reason is because proprietary bars, and you know they've got their name right across the bar. I'm not going to say their name, but if you bring those bars into your local coin dealer and you're trying to sell those bars and you bought them off the internet, we have to buy them at pure melt. In other words, I cannot resell them. It's like if I wanted to open a restaurant, I can't call it McDonald's and not pay a franchise fee. Well, it's the same thing with these bars. The reason that they're proprietary and they've got their name all the way across them is because they're forcing you to have to come back and sell them to them. So if you bring these bars in and you've bought them off the internet, you're in trouble, because it's truly the cost of having to melt them down. It's not just the melt price. It's the cost that it's got to go to the refinery,
Right.
be melted down, so that that proprietary name can be taken off of the silver and then it can be reused.
Yeah.
So, and it's sort of the same thing. Another reason why, let's bash 90% in the head for just a second.
Oh.
It says, it says U.S. Mint on it. You know, so you could have a situation where the U.S. pulls that back. I don't know. It's hypothetical. That's why I say be diversified,
Yeah.
because you don't really know. But as far as proprietary bars, be real careful about stacking those. Check with your local coin dealer. Go in, experiment. Okay, I bought this bar. It's got this name on it in big, bold letters. Do you take that? Are you going to give me the most amount of money for that? No, because we have to actually send it off. It has to be physically melted down. It cannot be resold,
Right,
out
resold.
out of the shop. You can't hang a sign up saying, hey, I have ABC bars. Come get them. You can't do
Yeah.
that. You can't hang up
do
a sign,
that.
I'm McDonald's,
Right.
without paying a franchise fee.
That's true.
So be careful with bars. And
Yeah.
people really are shocked when I have to explain that to them. They come in to sell and they want spot or whatever, and I have to start telling them, well, you know, what you've got is proprietary.
Yeah.
So try to stay away from those.
Okay. Well, do you think they're melting? Why are they melting 90%?
90%,
You think they are?
90% is really getting bashed in the head, and maybe, I don't know. I you know, if anybody knows, comment down below. But they're telling me that they're melting 90% and making these they're so desperate for these 1,000-ounce bars.
Yeah.
And the only way I can figure that is if the bankers are paying more than the spot price for the
Right.
bars to justify the melting of the 90%. But if that's true, and they have melted it before, from what I understand, they are destroying your independent currency.
Right.
That is the dimes, quarters, and halves that you can be independent with, and you can go out and purchase and create commerce. So get them while they're available, get them while they're cheap. We've got some 90% that we're selling no dates at $5 below spot. So get yourself some 90% right now, especially while it's low. Because they may or may not be melting it, and it's also getting really bashed in the head by other YouTube video people right now, because these companies that produce bars, well, they sponsor the YouTube video guy.
Right.
So the YouTube video guy is like, okay, they came out with an email and they listed 925 and scrap gold and 40% and 35%, and on that list was 90%. Which I think is ridiculous. I don't believe that, but let's assume that it is.
Yeah.
Well, that's the one thing that they focused in on. Don't buy 90%. Get rid of your 90%. Oh, you're in trouble if you own 90%. Well, these YouTube people are being sponsored by these large internet companies that are selling bars.
Right.
So, and they're pushing the bars again with their name on them.
Yeah.
So don't listen to everything you hear on the internet.
Including us. You do
Including
your
us.
own
Get out there,
research.
do your own research, form your own opinion, get educated, decide for yourself. But look
Yeah.
into the fact that, hey, how come 90% is being melted? Well, I'm not saying it's a conspiracy, it's just coincidental that we're losing our currency that makes us independent.
Yeah.
Unless people realize what it is and start to stack the 90%, they're not going to have it, because the people with bars are going to be running in here screaming for currency, I believe, one day. And the 90% is just going to skyrocket in value. And it's being melted right now and being sold below spot right now. There are other dealers selling 90% below spot.
Yeah.
And we're $5 below spot on no dates,
On the no dates.
and we're
Standing
right at
ribs.
spot on your regular dimes, quarters, and halves.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, well, let's do the week in review. What did we
Wow,
see? There
nothing
was a
happened
ton.
this week.
No, not at
No.
all here in Virginia.
So we had Virginia went blue,
Oh, my
which
goodness.
it's just complacency. You know, it happens on every cycle. When a Republican president gets in, your midterms tend to go
We got to
Democrat.
pray against that.
And so we're seeing that now, you know, we're seeing people, what it is, the lower income people, you know, they're holding up signs. I want free bus fare. I want free food. I want, you know, everything, my rent, I want it reduced. I want it controlled down. And, you know, the food also along hand in hand with the government shutdown.
Yeah.
We are seeing people, more of the government people went out and voted. And the people who work and make the country run didn't vote.
Right.
And so the nation swung. I don't know if you call it a blue wave, but it was definitely something.
Well,
it was
at
blue.
least in Virginia. I
New
don't
Hampshire,
think-
New York, of course. You know, we've
New
got
Jersey and New York.
New Jersey and New York, and of course
Yeah.
we've got a
New York
socialist
mayor.
now, and that tells you that something is wrong. You know, when
Definitely.
people are holding up signs that say communism is what we want,
Yeah.
they're uneducated. They have no knowledge, no experience, no
history.
idea what they're standing up
Lessons.
for.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we have to see what's coming. But I have two things about the week in review that I want to mention before we go into the coin shop.
Okay, Don.
One of them is that Trump is working on the nuclear option of the filibuster.
Right.
And I know that's very controversial, but if we don't do that, if we don't just get our message through, it's about saving the nation from children that just don't understand what they're doing.
That's true.
And the nuclear option and the gerrymandering.
Yes.
We lost some Republicans that had been in office 35 years here locally because of
Yeah.
gerrymandering on this election. So unless the courts rule that gerrymandering is unconstitutional, and if Trump can get the nuclear option,
Yeah.
because the Democrats are going to use the nuclear option when they get back in power here in the next a year from now in the next midterm election. The prediction is that they're going to use the nuclear option,
If they
which
get
would
back
give
in.
them Puerto Rico, Washington. They'll end the election,
Stack the court.
stack the courts, and the way the election is run with the Electoral College.
Right.
They'll end that. So they're going to do that. We might as well do it now so that we've got at least a year to get the Republican viewpoints in and turn this nation around. As far as the shop, let's talk about the shop. It's really, really quieted down. We have people still selling, but we have the buyers.
Yeah.
But it's definitely slowed down to a gentle pace right now. So which one's more than the other? We probably have more. We're buying more than we're selling. We're still
Yeah.
buying more than we're selling, but it's definitely slowed way down
Yeah.
from what it was.
Yeah. Even though there are days it seems it's so busy.
Yes, it's still busy. A lot of chaos. I think a lot of people are coming in nickel and dime needing money.
Right. But the antique mall that we're in, can we say
Yes.
that has really slowed?
Yeah, it has slowed down. The antique mall has slowed down. It may just be a pause here getting ready for Thanksgiving and
That's
Christmas
true.
because 2 or 3 weeks ago we were swamped in the antique business. Mirrors, china, furniture was
Right.
selling like crazy. So I think we're seeing a week where it's a little bit slow getting ready for the holiday rush. Well, I think we'll pick back up for the holiday rush.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you, everybody. Blessings.
Blessings, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.